Hi everybody, Zoey Kirby here. I wanted to make a quick video kind of gathering my thoughts over the recent news about the Corporation for Public Broadcasting that is shutting down due to a lack of public funds, and I just wanted to share whatever thoughts are rolling around my brain, give a few opinions, and if there's any kind of other information I think is important for people to know and understand, I will be editing that and adding it to this video. So, as I'm sure you've seen if you've been on social media, because I've been seeing many outlets posting articles to this, but the nonprofit organization, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, has to shut down due to a lack of federal funding, which, if you aren't aware, there was the massive budget bill that passed in Congress a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that was in that congressional budget was, of course, the funding for the National Broadcasting Corporation being cut, which means a bunch of different programs that Americans have come to know and love are potentially in jeopardy. If you think, particularly with children's programming, because if you think about a lot of the iconic American children's shows that most Americans will associate with and really enjoying and loving come from public broadcasting. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, Arthur, Bob Ross, just to name an iconic few, as well as where we get quite a few. You get more newsy things like National Public Radio, or better known as NPR, which has its own radio broadcast that covers the latest news of the day, as well as their website that has written articles that tend to break an important story every once in a while. There is a little bit of a backstory to why it is that we finally see the Corporation for Public Broadcasting being on the chopping block as a public good. This has long been a project for Republicans wanting to completely defund public broadcasting, because one of the missions of conservatism, of modern American conservatism, and you see this in other places too, like in the UK, one of the main goals that they have is to privatize a given sector. They don't want there to be a publicly funded national broadcasting apparatus, because they would rather that be handled by private industry, by companies which aren't going to be having the public's good and at mind at all. So with privatization, you also have the filtering of information having to go through the funnel of what the company who is putting on the particular information thinks is acceptable for the public to see, and what isn't acceptable for the public to see. Like, for example, famously, the Washington Post, which is owned by bald billionaire extraordinaire Jeff Bezos. Because it is owned by Jeff Bezos, for example, there is going to be less material, less coverage, less articles about being critical toward, let's say, Jeff Bezos and Amazon as a result of it being completely owned by the man himself. So one of the arguments that is crucial to why public broadcasting is so important, and why it's such a blow to free speech in America, in my opinion, is because it doesn't have that corporate filter. It is being done just for the public interest, being funded by the public through tax dollars for the public to be able to get a myriad of different things. As I said before, newsy content, you get a lot of documentaries through PBS, and you have PBS Kids, as well as all the programs that I listed before. So this is a huge blow to public broadcasting as a public good, as a thing that can help inform the public. As far as I understand, because the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is the structure that houses all of the things that I was talking about before, I don't really know how all of this is going to shake out, and if all of the different programs that are funded by the National Corporation for Public Broadcasting, how it's all going to go. My guess is that it's currently all sitting in jeopardy, having to figure out if there's going to be any funding coming in whatsoever. Again, I want to reiterate, the project to completely defund public broadcasting isn't a Trumpian idea. This isn't a thing that comes from Trumpists. It goes back to, from something that I remember, to 2012, where Mitt Romney talked about defunding public broadcasting, where I think there were memes that were going around about how Mitt Romney hates Big Bird. So, the other main point I want to stress is that this is a blow to free speech in America. Don't get it twisted. Now, Trump's myriad of different lawsuits against different corporations like CBS, like CNN, getting the Washington Post to capitulate, for example, are also blows to free speech in their own sense, because it is going to create fear and control. Some of the stories that will come out about Trump, the lack of a publicly funded media apparatus is also a blow to free speech, because is no longer an organization that is going to be making news, content, all of these different things without the for-profit motive in mind, which is going to mean that that there are going to be stories that would only be covered by NPR or PBS that simply just won't be covered now, which means that the range for critique of our government from a public good is just cease to exist now. Simply, it doesn't exist. So that's just one place, one outlet where there just isn't free speech, because an entire platform that informed the entire country about how our government works, culture, a bunch of different things, just has completely disappeared. It's a massive blow to a public good in America that we have all come to love and trust in a myriad of different ways. And in my opinion, the Trump regime should be fucking ashamed to put the Corporation for National Public Broadcasting on the chopping block so he can make room in our budget to give billionaires and massive corporations big tax cuts that isn't going to benefit anyone besides a select few in our country at all. So, again, the National Public Broadcasting Corporation, the Corporation for National Public Broadcasting, is completely cooked. It is an overcooked steak that is completely well done, and no one's going to be able to eat it because it doesn't have any funding, so the steak doesn't exist. It's cooked. It is terrible. Just another move by our absolutely terrible fascist government to make living in the United States of America in 2025 even shittier. I will link down in the description different news articles that covered this. I just kind of wanted to give kind of my opinion on it, what the ramifications I think are for things like free speech, and go from there. You can read the articles on your own. This isn't the video where I'm going to be This isn't the video where I went through any of that. So feel free to check the description and let me know in the comments what you think about there no longer being a hub for public content in America. And I hope you guys have a good day, because this is pretty bad news, and I'm pretty sad about it. I really particularly love Sesame Street and think that's a wonderful thing. It's also been very progressive. I don't know what hangs in the balance and what doesn't. So This video is dedicated to Sesame Street and to Elmo's World, and I hope all of you have a great day.